Alright, welcome back to another Part 107 practice test video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about hazardous attitudes and antidotes. So basically, there are 5 different hazardous attitudes, and these can interfere with the ability to make sound decisions when you're flying a drone. I'm not even going to lie to you, if you see these problems on your test, these should be a slam dunk. Once you understand these 5 attitudes and the antidotes against them, you should be able to recognize them very, very quickly on your test. When I saw these, it was basically a guaranteed point for me because I had looked into these hazardous attitudes. So I'm going to go through all 5 of them, and then we're going to go through the antidotes, and then we'll go through some practice problems. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first hazardous attitude is anti-authority. So this can be described as, in the quote, "Don't tell me." This is found in people who don't like people telling them what to do. They're resentful of having someone tell them what to do, and they may regard rules, regulations, and procedures as silly or unnecessary. For each of these attitudes, I've sort of selected some emojis that I think best exemplify these attitudes. It's just a silly way for me to express these. Maybe you could use these to memorize them, I don't know, but it just helps me. So the emoji I picked for this one is kind of this one that's blowing steam out of their nose. They're kind of frustrated that someone is telling them what to do. So anti-authority attitude is "don't tell me." Next is impulsivity. The quote for this one is "do it quickly." This is an attitude of people who frequently feel the need to do anything immediately. They don't really stop to think about what they're about to do. They don't pick the best alternative. They do the very first thing that comes to mind. So the emoji I picked for this one is this devil horns one, where you're kind of just focused on doing something. You don't take the proper precaution. Next one is invulnerability. The quote for this one is "it won't happen to me." So a lot of people falsely believe that accidents happen to others but not to them. So they know that they can happen and they know that anyone can be affected, but they don't really think that they themselves will be personally involved. So they're more likely to take chances and increase risk. So the emoji I picked for this is this shrugging emoji, where they're kind of saying, "oh, it happened to those other people, but I don't know, it probably won't happen to me." Next one is macho. The quote for this one is "I can do it." People with this attitude are trying to prove they're better than anyone else. They think, "I can do it, I'll show them." Pilots with this kind of attitude will try to prove themselves by taking risks in order to impress others. While it's thought to be a male characteristic, women can also be susceptible to this one. So the emoji I picked for this is this emoji with sunglasses on that's kind of flexing. Next one is resignation, and the quote for this is "what's the use?" So they don't really see themselves as being able to make a great deal of difference in what happens to them. So when they go well, they think it's good luck, and when things go badly, they think someone is out them, or they attribute it to bad luck. So they'll leave the action to others, and then maybe they'll even go with unreasonable requests just to be a nice guy. So the emoji I picked for this one is kind of this emoji that's like looking down. They're feeling resignation. What is the use? With these 5 hazardous attitudes, there's also this concept of an antidote. So you're basically just gonna have to memorize these. Recognizing what a hazardous attitude is just the first step towards neutralizing them. You also have to think about the antidote, which is kind of like the opposite of the attitude. Here I have them all mixed up, so I want you to take a second, consider what you've learned about the 5 hazardous attitudes and connect them to the antidotes on the right, which have been mixed up, and then unpause the video and I'll go over them. So our first antidote is "not so fast, think first." This would be a great antidote for impulsivity. Someone who wants to do everything quickly and not think things through, the antidote for them should be to not do everything so fast and think things through first. Alright, the next one we have is "taking chances is foolish." This is an antidote for macho behavior. Someone who is macho is going to be taking chances and taking risks that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise to impress someone. Thinking taking chances is foolish is a good way to prevent the macho attitude. Next one is "follow the rules. They are usually right." This one corresponds with anti-authority. So people who don't like being told what to do, they don't like rules, regulations, or procedures. The antidote to that attitude is to follow the rules because they're set in place for a reason. The next antidote is "I'm not helpless, I can make a difference." This would be the antidote to resignation. Someone who is resigned doesn't think that they actually play an active role in what happens to them. So our antidote is that they aren't actually helpless and they can actually make a difference. And then the final antidote is "it could happen to me." Hopefully by process of elimination, you know which one this will match up with. But yes, this will be invulnerability. So someone who's invulnerable thinks that accidents won't happen to them. The antidote to that hazardous attitude is "it could happen to me." Hopefully that helps you with figuring out the antidote to these 5 hazardous attitudes. Let's go ahead and go through some practice problems now. The first one is, what is the antidote when a pilot has a hazardous attitude such as macho? We're going to pause the video figure out what the right answer is. The correct answer here is B. Why is A incorrect? A is incorrect because it actually exemplifies that macho attitude. So someone who is macho will think that they can do it regardless of what it is. So they might take on these risks. Nothing will happen. This is actually the antidote for invulnerability. So that is incorrect. The correct answer here is B. Let's look at the next problem. What is the antidote when a pilot has a hazardous attitude such as invulnerability? A, it will not happen to me. B, it cannot be that bad. Or C, it could happen to me. Correct answer here is C. So someone who is invulnerable thinks that accidents don't happen to them. It only happens to others. So C is the correct answer here. A is actually exactly what I just said. It exemplifies the hazardous attitude. It is not an antidote. B, it cannot be that bad. You might consider this to be the right answer, but C is definitely the better answer. Really, the direct opposite of someone thinking that they're invulnerable is thinking that accidents can't actually happen to them. So B is incorrect. All right, next question. What is the antidote when a pilot has a hazardous attitude such as anti-authority? Feel free to pause the video. The correct answer here is C. If someone is anti-authority, that means they don't follow the rules. They're resentful of rules, regulations, and procedures. So they should be following the rules, and that would be the antidote here. A does not get the correct answer. Rules do not apply in this situation. 100% of the time when you're flying a drone, there is some sort of rule regulating you. There is some sort of FAA regulation or rule or procedure that you should be following. So this would not be the correct antidote. B, I know what I'm doing. This is also incorrect. This also kind of exemplifies the anti-authority attitude where you question authority and you think that you know what's best. Next question. What is the antidote when a pilot has a hazardous attitude such as impulsivity? A, it could happen to me. B, do it quickly and get it over with. Or C, not so fast, think first. The correct answer here is C. C is correct. The reason why is people who are impulsive want to do it very quickly. They don't really stop to think about what they're about to do, and they don't consider alternatives. They do whatever comes first to their mind. So the antidote to that would be to not do it so fast and think through it first. A is incorrect. This is actually the antidote to invulnerability. B is also incorrect, so do it quickly and get it over with. Actually exemplifies impulsivity. So right before you're about to fly your drone, you should be planning out anything that could go wrong. You should be taking your time with this because it can actually result in some serious injuries. Correct answer here is C. All right, final question we have here. What is the antidote when a pilot has a hazardous attitude such as resignation? A, what is the use? B, someone else is responsible. Or C, I am not helpless. Correct answer here is C. People who are displaying resignation, they think, what's the use? They don't really see themselves as being able to make a difference to what happens. So the exact opposite of that, or the antidote, is I am not helpless. A, what is the use, is incorrect. This is exemplifying that resignation attitude. B, someone else is responsible. This also exemplifies resignation, where they kind of don't think that they're in control. They don't think they can influence the outcome of the situation they're in. So B is also incorrect. The correct answer here is C. Hopefully this helps you with these hazardous attitudes and their antidotes. As I mentioned, these problems should be a slam dunk. You should be very, very happy if you see these on your Part 107 test, because all you have to do is memorize what these attitudes are and what their antidotes are, and they tend to just have the same terminology and the same phrases. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.